always looking for cities that are going to be very walkable, they're going to be relatively flat, they're going to have great public transportation, and they're also going to have an international airport that's relatively close to the historic downtown core. If that sounds like something you're interested in, sit back and enjoy, and let's get into these cities. There's so many to pick from, but the first one I'm going to talk about, it's Amsterdam. Amsterdam is just such a wonderful city to visit with families. It's got parks, it's got canals, it's got historic architecture, it has excellent public transportation systems, so there's trams that crisscross the historic core. It's also located within about a 15 to 20 minute train ride of the international airport. And Amsterdam is just such a wonderful city to visit with families. And Vondelpark, this amazing, beautiful park that kind of runs lengthwise along the edge of the city. It's got playgrounds in it. It actually has shaded paths that you can walk on. And there's some cafes that are actually lined right inside the park. So we were able to eat outside overlooking Vondelpark. And it's just a wonderful place if you can find accommodations with your family that's near that park. I think you're going to have a fabulous time staying in Amsterdam. Another thing that I think grandparents are going to like about Amsterdam is that the city is filled with canals, and these canals have wonderful boat tours passing these historic, beautiful buildings. And it's such a great way to see the city. It's a great way for grandparents to sit back and relax, and it's also a great way to get those young kids to travel greater distances without having to use your legs that whole time. Another thing that I think grandparents are going to absolutely love about Amsterdam is it's got a great cafe scene, and it also has benches that are sprinkled throughout the city that make it really easy to wander, to explore, and then find a nice bench or a nice cafe to sit at and just spend the time sitting down, people watching, enjoying a beverage, and just really focusing on traveling slowly, connecting with your family, and just enjoying being in this city. To me, an ideal amount of time to spend in Amsterdam is about 4 to 5 nights. I think that's going to allow you to slow down. It's going to allow you to become part of the city. It's going to allow you to get to know where there's grocery store, where the local cafe is, where the best pastries are, things like that. I think Amsterdam's just a wonderful city to take your family to, and it's one that I would highly recommend that you add to your itinerary for your next European vacation. Up next is Paris, France, one of my all-time favorite cities to visit in Europe. Every time I've ever gone out in the streets of Paris, I'm just blown away by the beautiful architecture, the number of parks, the number of cafes, and just how wonderful of a city it is to feel like you're a local in. It's so easy to walk, to explore. It has an absolutely amazing public transportation system. So it's got the Paris Metro, very easy to land at the international airport. You can either take a train into the city, or you can get a taxi into the city. I've done both ways, depending on how many people you're traveling with. But once you're within the city, it's so easy to hop on the metro. When my in-laws were last in Paris, they actually talked about how easy it was to jump on the bus. I think that Paris works really well for kids, and one of the big reasons for that is just the number of parks there are sprinkled throughout the city. And when you're at these parks, you not only get to watch your kids playing on the playgrounds, the slides, the swings, you also get to watch them interact with other French kids. You get to watch them listen to kids speaking French, and you get to look out at these beautiful historic buildings. It's just an absolute joy to be there in the City of Lights with your children, watching them play and just take it all in. When you're in Paris, there's also the Seine River runs kind of circles around the city of Paris. That's an easy activity to do with kids. Also with grandparents is you can book a river cruise that'll allow you to have a seat, to be able to travel along the river and really just enjoy seeing these historic sites that are all dotted along the river, have someone, speaking and giving a historic tour about it, and just a great way to rest a little bit, but still have such an enjoyable time. One park in particular that I'd absolutely recommend that you go and visit is the Tuileries Gardens. Absolutely beautiful park. It's located right outside of the Louvre Museum. It's actually the gardens outside the Louvre. Wonderful park to visit. It's got some playgrounds in it. It also has carousels that are located there. There's a carousel within the park. And it's just a wonderful place to take your kids. The architecture is beautiful. The large mature trees are beautiful. And you really just feel like you're part of the Parisian culture. Another thing I wanted to mention about Paris is how much Parisians love kids. They'll actually go out of their way to make sure that children have foods on the menu that they're going to be interested in eating. A lot of places I found had kids-specific menus. We were at a restaurant that, they had chicken nuggets, but they were actually very high quality chicken nuggets that my son wanted to eat. I've just found that Parisians, the restaurant owners, they seem to go out of their way to want to make sure that the parents are happy, the kids are happy, the grandparents are happy, and it's just a wonderful place to bring your children to. Grandparents, I think, absolutely love to visit Paris because of the museums. Absolute world-class art museums are found throughout the city. Again, it's so easy to get around in. It's relatively flat, and it's just easy to sit back. The Parisian cafe culture actually encourages you to sit down, to spend a leisurely, 2 hours, 2.5 hour lunch where you're just hanging out, and you can really just get lost overlooking this beautiful city and just being part of the vibe that is Paris. I'd highly recommend that you make sure to spend enough time in this city. I think you're going to want at least 3 to 5 nights to be able to really take in Paris. And to be honest, that might not even be enough. So I'd highly recommend Paris. Give it a thought, think about that as a great city to add to your next European itinerary. The next city on my list of great cities to visit with kids and grandparents is Munich, Germany. Munich, like so many other German cities, is an incredibly safe city. It's extremely clean, and it is run so efficiently. The trains are on time, the trams are on time, the buses are on time, and the German people just take pride in having a very livable, walkable city. The English gardens are such a joy to take your kids to. There's playgrounds, there's shaded paths, there's plenty of benches for grandparents to be able to take a break on, to kick back, enjoy the beauty. The Munich people are there in the city with you. You really feel like you're part of something special anytime you visit the English garden. And one of the really key pieces of it is you can walk up. It's up a little bit of a hill. It's within the garden, the English gardens itself. It's actually the Chinese beer garden. This is an absolutely beautiful, huge beer garden that has all the food stalls that you can imagine. It's got pretzels, it's got sausages, it's got the potatoes, it's got beer, it's got everything that kids would want, that parents would want, that grandparents would want. And then it's got these giant communal tables that everybody can get their food, come back to, sit down, eat at. There's actually the part of the Chinese garden has a big elevated stage where you can listen to live music, and it's something that you absolutely need to experience when you're in Munich. I think that Munich is a great city to bring grandparents to it as well. The public transportation is very efficient. It's a flat, walkable city. Another really excellent piece about Munich is where it's located at. It's actually a short, maybe 1 to 1.5 hour train ride to Salzburg, Austria. We actually took that as a day trip. We went out to Salzburg, beautiful city, sitting right at the base of the Austrian Alps, and do a little research there. That's actually a city I'll probably talk on in the future, but beautiful city to go and visit, huge, wonderful fortress up above it. So very easy access from Munich out to Salzburg. I'd say in Munich, you're going to want to plan at least 4 to 5 nights that you want to spend there. There's just so much to do. There's so much to see. There's so many parks. There's so many museums, great restaurants, great food. And I think you're just going to have an absolute wonderful time visiting this German city. The next city that I want to take us to is Lucca, Italy. Italy is a country that I could talk about. So many wonderful cities that are great for parents, kids, grandparents. But the one that I'm going to focus on today is Lucca, Italy. It's kind of in the northern-ish part of Italy, about an hour outside Florence, 30 minutes outside Pisa. And it's this beautiful town that I'm actually planning into my itinerary for this summer. And some characteristics of Lucca that make it so unique and so wonderful for families is it's actually surrounded all the way around the city, about a 2.5 to 3 mile long path. It's got fortified, big, historic city walls. But Lucca has actually taken these walls. They were designed during the time of cannons, so they're very big, wide walls that are 50 to 100 feet wide. And they've now been turned into a giant parkway or greenway with bike paths that surround the entire historic core of Lucca. And I'm so excited to get there to be able to rent bikes, to bike along those walls, walk along those walls, and then right outside of those, you're within 5 minutes of gelato anywhere you go, because you can get down off those walls. You can walk into the historic core that's relatively car-free. So easy to navigate and get around in, and there's cafes, there's accommodations, and it's just so easy to feel like you're part of the Italian culture. You can be part of the cafe scene. You can spend your time getting gelato and just enjoying yourself in this beautiful, historic Italian city. I think Lucca is a wonderful city to bring kids to, partially because of the restaurant scene, the food scene within Lucca, and this is really throughout a lot of Italy. There's so much food, pastas, pizzas, things like that young kids that may be picky eaters absolutely will go crazy about. They'll love it. They can find things to eat at these restaurants. I also think that Lucca is a great choice because it's closely and easily connected to Pisa. One thing we're looking forward to this summer when we visit Lucca is taking the train from Lucca's train station to Pisa. It's about a 30-minute train ride. You can see the Leaning Tower of Pisa. You can see the beautiful historic downtown Pisa. These things that your children have probably seen in their cartoons, they've read about in the books, things like that. And so it's just such an easy access to get to and from. It's also a very easy train ride into, if you spend more time here, you could have your home base be in Lucca, and very easy to hop on a train, go from Lucca to Florence in a day. Might get to be a little bit of a long day trip, but that's about an hour train ride between those two cities. For Lucca, I'd say for planning your trip, you're going to want at least 4 or 5 days. You could probably visit and be there for less days. But the way that I like to travel to Europe is really making sure to slow down, to spend leisurely days wandering, to have enough time to really feel like you're living part of this city. And also, I think Lucca has so many side trips, day trips that you're able to access that it really makes a lot of sense to slow down, establish yourself in that city, and just enjoy being part of the Italian culture. The next city on my list is Copenhagen, Denmark. It's a city that's filled with parks. It's easy to get around in, and it's a city that I think you're going to find to be very friendly, very safe, very clean. So Copenhagen, I think it's got so much to offer for kids, for grandparents. It's got bike lanes throughout the entire city. It's got urban parks sprinkled throughout the historic downtown core. It's an easy city to explore in. It's got great public transportation, and it's another one of these wonderful European cities that I think is so perfect for young kids, for teenagers, and all the way up to those grandparents that are going to be visiting this beautiful European city. Another wonderful thing about Copenhagen is that you can take the metro straight from the airport into downtown Copenhagen. That's about a 15-minute trip to get between those two places. For Copenhagen, again, you're going to find a theme here. I'd say you're going to want maybe 4 or 5 nights to be able to really experience all that Copenhagen has to offer. Make sure that you're slowing down, making sure that you're visiting these parks, you're strolling, you're exploring, and I think you're going to just have an absolutely wonderful time visiting this beautiful European city. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Again, my name's Ryan, and really the takeaway from this is there's so many wonderful cities that you could plan to visit in Europe. And one thing to keep in mind is it doesn't have to be overwhelming. A lot of the cities that I talked about today have a lot of things in common. These cities that I'm always looking for, I'm looking for cities that have great public transportation, they have dense historic downtown cores, they have world-class museums, and often I find visiting cities in Europe can actually be easier and more enjoyable than a lot of the cities that I visit in my home country in the United States. You generally don't need to rent a car. It's so easy to hop on public transportation. It's so easy to become part of this local culture. And on this channel, I focus on helping families plan multi-generational trips to Europe that are focused on connection, slow travel, and avoiding the mistakes that can take a trip that should be an absolute joy into something that's chaotic and stressful. So if that sounds good to you, maybe hit that subscribe button, stick around, and thanks so much for being here.